In the early 1950s, the CIA launched one of the most secretive and disturbing programs in U.S. history. It was called Project MK Ultra, a covert initiative designed to explore mind control, chemical interrogation, and psychological manipulation. What started as an effort to keep up with Soviet and Chinese brainwashing techniques spiraled into something far darker. Over the course of more than a decade, the CIA funded hospitals, prisons, universities, and secret facilities where Americans, many of them unaware, were subjected to horrifying experiments: drugs, hypnosis, sensory deprivation, forced comas, even electroshock. These weren't just theories. They happened. In this video, we were going to expose 5 of the most shocking MK Ultra experiments the government desperately tried to bury. Let's get into it. Experiment 1. The Truth Serum Project. In the early years of the Cold War, the CIA was obsessed with one goal: creating the perfect truth serum, a chemical compound that would force people to speak the truth, betray secrets, and lose control of their minds under interrogation. Their chosen weapon: LSD. The agency bought massive quantities of it. At first, it was tested in controlled settings, but quickly those limits were thrown out. The CIA began covertly dosing individuals without their knowledge to study the effects. The targets were often prisoners, psychiatric patients, and even random citizens in bars and cafes. Some people experienced terrifying hallucinations. Others suffered psychotic breaks. A few never fully recovered. The idea was simple. If LSD could unlock hidden thoughts or reduce resistance, it could become the ultimate psychological weapon. But what they learned was more disturbing. LSD didn't create truth. It created chaos. And still, the experiments continued. Experiment 2. Operation Midnight Climax. Imagine this. You're sitting in a motel room in San Francisco. A beautiful woman offers you a drink. Moments later, everything starts to blur. You've just been dosed with LSD, and someone behind a two-way mirror is watching your every move. This was Operation Midnight Climax, one of MK Ultra's most twisted sub-projects. The CIA set up safe houses disguised as brothels. They paid sex workers to lure unsuspecting men inside, where they would be unknowingly drugged. Meanwhile, CIA agents sat behind one-way glass, taking notes, recording, and sometimes just watching. They weren't just testing drugs. They were studying how sex, shame, and altered states of consciousness could be used to break down a person's defenses. These experiments weren't theoretical. They were deeply personal invasions of privacy, dignity, and autonomy. And the men involved, many of them ordinary citizens, had no idea it was happening. Experiment A. The psychiatric hospital trials. MK Ultra didn't stop at secret hotels or jail cells. It reached into psychiatric hospitals, where some of the most brutal experiments took place. In Canada, a respected doctor named Ewan Cameron was funded through MK Ultra to test a concept he called psychic driving. His theory? That you could erase a person's mind, completely wipe their identity, and then rebuild it from scratch. Patients were placed in drug-induced comas for weeks, sometimes longer. During these periods, they were subjected to endless loops of recorded messages designed to break down their personality and implant new thoughts. Many were given massive doses of LSD. Others were restrained, isolated, and repeatedly electroshocked. These weren't criminals or spies. They were everyday people, often women, seeking help for anxiety or depression. When they woke up, some couldn't speak. Others forgot their families, their names, even how to use the bathroom. Their lives were shattered in the name of science and national security. Experiment 4. Chemical warfare on the mind. MK Ultra wasn't just about LSD. The CIA was exploring an entire arsenal of chemicals, each designed to manipulate the human mind. Some were tested on prisoners. Others were given to military personnel without consent. In certain cases, subjects were told they were participating in sleep studies or routine evaluations. but they were being chemically attacked. One drug was so powerful, it rendered people completely docile, unable to move, resist, or even think clearly. Another caused violent, uncontrollable hallucinations. The agents behind the project called them incapacitants. In reality, they were weapons. Some of these substances were sprayed into rooms, others were applied to skin or slipped into food. The testing environments were anything but ethical. No medical supervision, no consent, no care. The goal wasn't healing, it was control. Experiment 5. Total erasure and the cover-up. By the early 1970s, word of MK Ultra was starting to leak. Inside the CIA, there were growing concerns, not about ethics, but about exposure. So in 1973, the agency did something shocking. It destroyed nearly all of the MK Ultra records. On orders from then CIA Director Richard Helms, thousands of files were shredded. What remains today is just a fraction of the truth. Despite this cover-up, some evidence survived, enough to spark investigations. In 1975, the U.S. Congress launched hearings, revealing for the first time how deep the program ran. Witnesses testified. Victims came forward. Lawsuits were filed. But almost no one faced consequences. The people who ran the program retired with honors. Some received promotions. The government never fully acknowledged the scope of what happened, and most Americans never even knew. The legacy project, MK Ultra, is often dismissed as a conspiracy theory, but it wasn't. It was real, funded by the U.S. government, operated for years, and executed on American soil. Its legacy is one of broken lives, unanswered questions, and irreversible trauma. Some victims never knew what happened to them. Others spent decades piecing together fragments of lost memories and stolen time. MK Ultra shows us what can happen when fear overrides morality, when science is hijacked by secrecy, and when government power goes unchecked. The cold truth is this: the CIA didn't just study mind control, they used it. And for many, the damage was permanent. Outro. We may never know the full extent of MK Ultra. So much was destroyed, so many stories were buried, but the pieces we do have tell a chilling story, not of science fiction, but of science gone wrong. In a time of Cold War paranoia, the US government turned inward and made its own citizens the test subjects, all in the name of control. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to Cold File Room for more hidden history, declassified secrets, and the Cold War stories they never wanted you to hear.